the United States is not only an economic power, but also the most powerful technology empire in the world, where the digital future is created and led. On the global technology map, California, Washington, Texas, Massachusetts, and Arizona stand out as strategic pillars, coming together to form a complete and superior innovation ecosystem. California is the birthplace of Silicon Valley, where companies were created that have changed the way people live and connect with each other. Washington plays the role of a center for cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and data. Texas represents a new wave of technology and industry, with large production scale and strong ambition for expansion. Massachusetts is the academic brain, where scientific research and high technology continuously create breakthroughs. Arizona is rising as a strategic semiconductor center, holding a vital link in the global supply chain. When connected together, these 5 states create a huge technology machine that not only strengthens the power of the United States, but also shapes the direction of the world in the digital age. California, the state on the west coast of the United States, has for a long time become a symbol of dreaming, creativity, and prosperity. People call this place by many names: the Golden State, the land of the American dream, or the place where the sun never sets. California is not only famous for its strong economy that is #1 in the country, but also as a paradise of diverse culture, the meeting of many cuisines, and a natural treasure that stretches from the Pacific Ocean to the mighty Sierra Nevada mountains. If New York is known as the financial heart, then California is the creative soul of the United States, the place that created Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and the top centers of art, technology, and entertainment in the world. But not only the modern life, California also keeps inside it pages of history full of change, from the time of the Spanish colony, the gold rush of the 19th century, to the journey of becoming one of the strongest economies in the world. California has a very special geographic position. Located in the west of the United States, this state borders Oregon in the north, Nevada and Arizona in the east, Mexico in the south, and is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean in the west. With an area of more than 423,000 square kilometers, California is the 3rd largest state in the United States, only after Alaska and Texas, but it is the most populated with more than 39 million people. The landform here is wide and diverse in a way that few places can compare. Endless beaches with blue water, fertile valleys that support agriculture, the Sierra Nevada mountains with Mount Whitney, the highest peak in the continental United States, and harsh deserts like Mojave or Colorado with Death Valley, the lowest and hottest point in North America. Nature also gives California many kinds of climate, from warm Mediterranean to cool mountain climate, which makes it possible in one day to ski in Lake Tahoe in the morning and swim in Malibu in the afternoon. The history of California is connected with cultural exchange and big turning points of the United States. In 1542, the Spanish explorer Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo came to the coast of California, starting the time of discovery. In the 18th century, Spain built a system of 21 mission churches along the coast to spread the Christian religion and also to show control of the land. In 1821, after Mexico became independent from Spain, California became a part of Mexico. But only a little more than 2 decades later, after the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848, and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico had to give this land to the United States. The most important event in the history of California happened in 1848, when gold was found at Sutter's Mill near Sacramento. The California Gold Rush quickly started and became the biggest gold rush in the history of the United States. Hundreds of thousands of people from many places in the world came here, bringing with them the hope to change their life. The population of California grew fast. New towns and cities appeared, and only 2 years later, in 1850, California officially became the 31st state of the United States. From that time, California kept growing, from farming, mining, to industry, services, technology, and entertainment, and became one of the centers of economic and cultural power of the whole world. When we talk about California, we cannot forget Los Angeles, the biggest city of the state and also the center of the world entertainment industry. Los Angeles is busy and lively with life that never stops, where every street corner can be the scene of a movie, and every person carries the dream of Hollywood. Hollywood, the holy land of movies, is a symbol of the United States, with famous places like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where more than 2,600 stars with the names of great artists are on the sidewalk, or the Dolby Theater, where the Oscar Award takes place. Visitors can also visit film studios like Universal Studios or Warner Bros. And see real movie scenes from famous films. Not only movies, Los Angeles also attracts visitors with beautiful beaches like Santa Monica, with a busy pier, games, and wonderful sunset. Or Venice Beach, the place of street artists, bodybuilders, and seaside cafes with a free and open style. Different from the lively Los Angeles, San Francisco has a romantic and mysterious beauty. This city by the bay is famous for the Golden Gate Bridge, a building that is called one of the most beautiful bridges in the world. Every morning, the bridge looks like it is inside thick fog, making a magical scene that touches people's hearts. San Francisco is also the place of Alcatraz Island, the island that was once a federal prison, keeping the most dangerous criminals in the United States, but now it has become an attractive tourist place. Not only that, the city also has Fisherman's Wharf, a busy port area with fresh seafood restaurants, sea lions lying on the docks, and Chinatown, the biggest and oldest Chinese town in North America, bringing a very special cultural and food space. Going down to Southern California, San Diego appears with gentle beauty and warm weather all year round. This place is called the City of Sea and Sun, attracting visitors with endless beaches and calm waves. Balboa Park is a place that cannot be missed. Not only a green park, but also a cultural center with many museums, art galleries, and beautiful gardens. San Diego Zoo, a world-famous zoo, is also in Balboa Park, and it is home to thousands of rare animals cared for in a large natural environment. In addition, San Diego also has Old Town, a place that keeps the history from the time of the Spanish colony, giving visitors the feeling of going back in time. If you love wine, California is truly a paradise with Napa Valley and Sonoma. Napa Valley is only about 1 hour by car from San Francisco, and it is one of the most famous places in the world for growing grapes and making wine. Hundreds of vineyards stretch on the soft hills, with old wine cellars that are always open to welcome visitors. Here, you can join wine tasting tours, enjoy luxury dinners with fine wine, or simply sit on a hot air balloon and see the whole valley shining in the sunset. Sonoma, the neighbor of Napa, is also very famous, but it has a quiet and simple beauty, good for people who want rest and peace. Talking about California without Yosemite National Park would be a mistake. This national park is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, and it is famous for its great natural scenery, where huge granite cliffs like El Capitan and Half Dome stand tall in the Green Valley. Yosemite also has beautiful waterfalls, especially Yosemite Falls, one of the highest waterfalls in North America. In addition, the forest of giant sequoia trees is also a highlight, with trunks that are thousands of years old, standing like proof of the lasting power of nature. This is a perfect place for climbing, camping, taking photos of nature, and enjoying the greatness that only nature can give. If Yosemite surprises people with mountains and waterfalls, then Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park takes visitors to the world of giant ancient trees. The General Sherman tree, known as the largest tree on the planet, is almost 84 meters high and has a trunk base more than 11 meters wide. Walking in the forest of sequoia trees, people suddenly feel small in front of the greatness of nature. Kings Canyon, with deep canyons and wild scenery, also gives an exciting adventure feeling to those who love exploring. Death Valley. The Valley of Death is in the Mojave Desert, and it is one of the harshest places in the world. This is the lowest point in North America, with temperatures that can go over 50 degrees Celsius in the summer. But this harsh nature makes a special beauty. Long golden sand dunes, white salt fields, and colorful mountains that change with the sunlight. Even though it is called the Valley of Death, this place is full of life for people who love exploring and taking photos. Joshua Tree National Park is the meeting place of the Mojave and Colorado deserts, and it is famous for the strange-shaped Joshua trees that look like statues in the desert. The park also has huge granite rocks piled together in special shapes, attracting people who love climbing and photography. When night comes, the starry sky of Joshua Tree becomes one of the most amazing sights, making this place a paradise for people who love astronomy. Besides nature and culture, California is also proud of Silicon Valley, the global technology center. Located in the south of San Francisco Bay, Silicon Valley is the home of many top technology companies in the world, such as Apple, Google, Facebook, Tesla, Intel, and more. It is not only the place that creates products and services that change the world, but also a symbol of creativity, startup spirit, and the dream to reach the future. For many young people, just one time visiting Silicon Valley is enough to feel the power of knowledge, technology, and global vision. The interesting thing is that California is not only attractive because of its landscapes or lively cities, but also because of its unique stories. If counted alone, the economy of California would be in the top 5 biggest economies in the world. This state produces more than 50% of the vegetables and fruits for the whole United States, and it is also the global center of creativity in music, movies, and technology. California is also called the place where every day is new because of the variety of climate and activities. In the morning, you can go skiing. At noon, you can be on the beach. And in the evening, you can join a concert in Los Angeles or San Francisco. The culture of California is a mirror that shows diversity. This is the place where European, Asian, Latin American, and Native cultures meet. This mixing creates a special creative space, from art, movies, music, to festivals. Coachella, one of the most famous music festivals in the world, takes place every year in California, attracting hundreds of thousands of people. Traditional holidays of the Mexican community like Dia de los Muertos, or Asian festivals in Chinatown, San Francisco, and Little Tokyo in Los Angeles, all make a rich cultural symphony. The people here are also known for being open, friendly, and valuing personal freedom. They are creative, active, and always looking for new ideas, creating a special atmosphere that few other places can have. California food is a journey of taste. It starts with strong Mexican dishes like tacos, burritos, and enchiladas that have become common fast food, and continues with Asian dishes made with care like Japanese sushi, Chinese dim sum, Korean kimchi, or Vietnamese pho. Bro? California cuisine, the special food style of the state, focuses on fresh, healthy, and creative meals, combining local ingredients with influence from all over the world. And of course, Napa Valley wine, one of California's international prides, together with fresh seafood from the long coast, cannot be missed. All of these things make California both familiar and magical, both modern and deep. It is not only a state of the United States, but also a global symbol of dreams, opportunities, creativity, and freedom. Anyone who has ever been to California, even just once, will carry unforgettable memories of the sunset on the Pacific Ocean, of the busy streets, of the greatness of Yosemite, or of the sparkle of Hollywood. California, the Golden State, always opens its arms to welcome people, and it will always be a place where dreams never end. Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America, is one of the most special cities in the world. Unlike any other city in America, it does not belong to any state but was created as a federal district, the District of Columbia, with the only purpose of being the political and administrative center of the nation. For more than 2 centuries, Washington, D.C. has become a symbol of power, of democracy, and of the ideals that built the United States. But this city is not only the White House, the Capitol, or the Supreme Court. It is also a living picture of history, of art, of diverse culture, and of people from all over the world coming together to create a space that is both grand and friendly, both formal but also full of daily life. Located on the peaceful Potomac River, between the states of Maryland and Virginia, Washington, D.C. has an area of only about 177 square kilometers. Quite small compared to other huge cities in America, like New York or Los Angeles. But in this small area, there are buildings with the highest symbolic value, from the White House, where the president works and lives, the Capitol with its grand dome, the Washington Monument standing tall in the sky, to many museums and memorials of the Smithsonian system. Every year, tens of millions of visitors from all over the world come here, not only to see the symbols of America, but also to feel the spirit and the breath of the history and culture of the United States. The history of Washington, D.C. is connected with the birth of the United States. In 1790, according to the Residence Act, this place was chosen as the capital to balance the interests between the North and the South. President George Washington directly chose the location, and the French architect Pierre-Charles L'Enfant designed the city with wide avenues and open squares in a European style. The city went through many events, especially in 1814 when the British Army burned the White House and the Capitol. But Americans quickly rebuilt them and continued to grow. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Washington became a political and social center, where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his historic speech, "I Have a Dream," in 1963. Today, the Capitol is not only the place that leads the country, but also a global symbol, where every building and street tells a story of American history. There is no place in Washington, D.C. more symbolic than the White House, the place where the President of the United States works and lives. Built at the end of the 18th century, this building has witnessed countless important decisions that shaped the country. Although tourists can usually only look from the outside through the iron fence, the feeling of standing in front of the old white building, guarded strictly by the Secret Service, still brings amazement. For those who want to visit inside, it is necessary to register in advance through a member of Congress or an embassy, and this experience is very valuable. Every room and every corridor brings the solemn atmosphere of political power. Located on Capitol Hill, the Capitol building with its grand white dome is one of the most impressive works of architecture in the Capitol. This is the place where the United States Senate and House of Representatives work, and where the most important laws are made. Visitors can join a free tour to explore inside, from the rotunda, the main hall under the dome decorated with large murals, to the beautiful Library of Congress with millions of rare books. Every detail in the Capitol reflects the desire for democracy and the strength of a nation. At 169 meters tall, this huge marble column rises straight into the sky, becoming the most recognizable point in the panorama of the Capitol. Built to honor George Washington, the first president and the founding father, the monument has a simple but majestic beauty. Visitors can take the elevator to the top, where the glass windows allow them to see the whole city. The National Mall stretching below, the White House on one side, the Capitol on the opposite side, and far away the Potomac River winding. This is truly a memorable moment for anyone who comes to Washington for the first time. Located at the west end of the National Mall, the Lincoln Memorial is one of the most sacred buildings in the United States. Inside is a huge statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting in thought, with his eyes looking toward the reflecting pool. On the walls are the Gettysburg Address and the immortal words about freedom and equality. This is also the place where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his speech, "I Have a Dream," in 1963, an event that became part of the history of human rights in the world. At sunset, when the golden light shines on the statue, the space becomes calm and touching, moving the heart of anyone who comes here. The park, nearly 3 kilometers long, that connects the Capitol and the Lincoln Memorial, the National Mall, is seen as the heart of the Capitol. This is the place where most of the historic buildings, monuments, and big museums are located. Visitors can spend a whole day walking, enjoying the view, and visiting every important place. In summer, this space becomes a huge stage for concerts, festivals, and fireworks on Independence Day, July 4th. The feeling of sitting on the green grass, looking up at the Washington Monument rising high, with thousands of people and visitors around, really brings an unforgettable experience. The old neighborhood of Georgetown gives a space that is completely different from the political center. The stone streets, the red brick houses, the boutique shops, and the riverside cafes create a romantic and charming atmosphere. This is also the place of Georgetown University, one of the most famous schools in the United States, with a large campus and old buildings. In the evening, the Potomac River waterfront is an ideal place to enjoy dinner, to watch the boats pass by, and to feel the peaceful air. If the National Mall is the historic center, then DuPont Circle is the cultural and artistic heart of the capital. This is a lively neighborhood with many bars, art galleries, bookstores, and stylish cafes. The central square with its fountain is a familiar meeting place for young people, street artists, and the diverse community. On weekends, the local farmers market takes place with excitement, showing the active and modern lifestyle of DC residents. The Washington National Cathedral is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, 92 meters tall, standing proudly among the green space. This is the place where many presidential funerals and important religious events were held. A special point is that the cathedral combines classic European style with modern details. For example, stained glass windows that even show the image of astronaut Neil Armstrong stepping on the moon. Climbing up the bell tower, visitors can see the whole Capitol in a space that is both sacred and majestic. An artificial lake next to the National Mall, the tidal basin is especially famous in spring when thousands of cherry trees bloom at the same time. This is the place of the National Cherry Blossom Festival, a big event that lasts many weeks with parades, art performances, and fairs. Walking around the lake at the time of the blossoms, when each pink petal falls on the water, is one of the most romantic experiences in Washington, D.C. Besides the cherry blossoms, this area also has the Jefferson Memorial, the monument of the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, with its beautiful classic dome architecture. The culture of Washington, D.C. is a colorful picture of America, where African Americans, Latinos, Asians, and immigrant communities from all over the world come together. This diversity is clear in music, food, and festivals. From the Kennedy Center with ballet, opera, and concerts, to lively street festivals, art exhibitions, and colorful murals. The people here are professional in politics, diplomacy, and academics, but also open in daily life. The capital is a meeting point for lawmakers, international students, street artists, and chefs who bring the taste of their homeland to visitors. This mixture creates a Washington, D.C. that is formal but friendly, serious but still full of life. The food of Washington, D.C. also clearly shows the multicultural character. The city has the dish half smoke, a special spicy sausage usually eaten with chili sauce. Crab cake, the famous cake of crab from the nearby Chesapeake Bay, is a dish loved by many visitors. Mumbo sauce, a unique sweet and spicy sauce, is a taste connected with fried chicken and other fast foods in D.C. In addition, Washington is also famous for international restaurants. Italian, French, Japanese, Korean, Mexican, Indian, Ethiopian, and more are all here. The city also has many Michelin-starred restaurants, pleasing even the most demanding visitors. This richness makes the food in Washington, D.C. like a small journey around the world. And then, when finishing the journey of exploring Washington, D.C., people realize that this city is not only the political capital of the United States, but also the place that keeps history, the center of culture and art, and the diverse space of people and food. It is a complete destination where every step touches a part of the story of America. Among the wide avenues, the grand buildings, and the bright cherry blossom trees, Washington, D.C. appears like a heart beating strongly, sending out the spirit of the whole nation. And for visitors, this city is not only to look at, but also to feel, to think, and to keep unforgettable experiences about an America that is formal, diverse, lively, and full of charm. Texas. The name makes people think about cowboys riding horses on wide grasslands, tall oil rigs in the desert, big pickup trucks, and country music in wooden bars. But Texas is not only a big land with those famous symbols. It is a state with a proud history, a rich culture, strong people, and deep pride. With an area of more than 695,000 square kilometers, Texas is the second largest state in the United States, only after Alaska, and it is also the second most populated state with almost 30 million people. The mix of the huge size, the beautiful nature, and the long history makes Texas strong and special, becoming the burning heart of America. Located in the south of the United States, Texas borders many other states like Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and New Mexico, and it also has a long border with Mexico and a long coast on the Gulf of Mexico. This geography gives Texas very different natural features, from thick forests in the east, grasslands and plateaus in the center, to dry semi-deserts in the west, and long, beautiful beaches in the south. The climate also changes clearly in each area. The east is wet with a lot of rain, the west is dry, the north has colder winters, and the south is hot and warm all year. This difference in geography and climate helps Texas not only grow strong in farming, but also become an attractive place for tourism, where every land has its own color. The history of Texas is a long and eventful journey. Before Europeans came, this land was home to many native tribes, like the Caddo, Apache, and Comanche. They lived by hunting, gathering, farming, and they built a rich local culture. In the early 16th century, the Spanish started to come, built forts and churches, and made Texas a colony for many centuries. In 1821, when Mexico became independent from Spain, Texas became part of Mexico. But because many Americans moved to Texas, and there were conflicts about politics, religion, and culture, the tension grew stronger. In 1836, after hard battles, especially the Battle of the Alamo, Texas declared independence and became the Republic of Texas, a separate country for 9 years. This time gave the people a deep pride, because they once lived as a free nation, with the Lone Star flag flying high. In 1845, Texas joined the United States as the 28th state, which led to the war between the United States and Mexico and opened a new chapter. In the 20th century, Texas became a center of oil, energy, military, and education. making a big contribution to the growth of the whole United States. Houston is the biggest city in Texas and the fourth largest city in the United States, where modern spirit, strong economic growth, and special multicultural life come together. The first thing people talk about in Houston is the Johnson Space Center of NASA, the place that manages and controls human space flights. Here, visitors can see models of the space shuttle, astronaut suits, and even the mission control room, where NASA engineers worked for many decades. Besides space, Houston is also the biggest energy center in the United States, especially in oil and gas, with many tall skyscrapers and modern business areas. In culture, Houston is famous for the Museum of Fine Arts, the Museum of Natural Science, the Houston Grand Opera, and the lively Chinatown, where you can enjoy rich Asian food. This city also has a very diverse community, with more than 145 languages spoken, making Houston one of the most multicultural cities in the United States. Dallas has long been a big center of business and finance in Texas, famous for its skyline full of lights and special buildings like Reunion Tower. One of the most visited places is the 6th floor museum at Dealey Plaza, which tells the story of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, a history event that shocked the world. Not only famous for history, Dallas is also a center of art with the Dallas Arts District, the largest urban art area in the United States, where theaters, galleries, and museums of modern and classical art are located. Dallas also has the legendary football team Dallas Cowboys, called America's Team, with the AT&T Stadium, one of the most impressive stadiums in the world. This is a city where modern life, energy, and sports spirit come together, leaving an unforgettable memory in visitors' hearts. Austin, the capital of Texas, is called the live music capital of the world. Here, visitors can easily see live music shows on the streets, in bars, or in public squares. Austin is also the place of two world-famous music and art festivals, South by Southwest SXSW, an event that mixes music, film, and technology, and Austin City Limits, a festival with hundreds of artists. Not only strong in music, Austin is also a technology center with the name Silicon Hills, where many big tech companies and startups have their offices. The city brings a young, creative, and lively atmosphere, making it a favorite place for young people, artists, and business founders. At the same time, Austin still keeps its natural charm with Lady Bird Lake, the Colorado River, and many green parks. San Antonio is the place connected with one of the proudest stories of Texas, the Alamo. This is the fort where a hard battle happened in 1836, when a small group of brave Texas soldiers fought against a much larger Mexican army. Even though they lost, the spirit of Remember the Alamo became a symbol of courage and the wish for independence of Texas. Today, San Antonio still keeps a beauty that mixes modern and traditional life. Riverwalk, a walking path along the river longer than 20 kilometers, is a romantic and lively place with many restaurants, cafes, shops, and entertainment spots. The city also has many special cultural events, like Fiesta San Antonio, a colorful street festival that attracts millions of visitors every year. San Antonio is truly a place where you can feel the history spirit together with the modern, lively life. Big Bend is one of the largest and most beautiful national parks in the United States, located in southwest Texas, next to the border with Mexico. With an area of more than 3,200 square kilometers, the park includes the Chihuahuan Desert, the Chisos Mountains, and the Rio Grande River that makes deep canyons. Visitors can do many activities like hiking, camping, kayaking on the river, or watching the stars at night. Because Big Bend is one of the places with the clearest and most beautiful night skies in the United States. Padre Island, the longest barrier island in the world, goes more than 180 kilometers along the coast of Texas. This is a sea paradise with soft white sand, clear blue water, and romantic sunsets. Especially, Padre Island is the home and nesting place of the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle, one of the rarest and most precious turtles in the world. Visitors can join eco-tours, camp by the beach, go fishing, or simply relax in the calm sea waves. If Dallas shows a modern and business style, Fort Worth right next to Dallas, keeps the traditional cowboy spirit. This place is called Cowtown because it was once the biggest cattle market in the southwest of the United States. Today, the Fort Worth Stockyards is a famous tourist spot where visitors can see cattle parades, rodeo shows, or visit bars and shops in Wild West style. Fort Worth also has many famous Western art museums, taking visitors back to the glorious cowboy times. Not only with landscapes and cities, Texas is also interesting with its special things. It was once an independent country, has its own electric grid, is the birthplace of rodeo, and is the leader of wind energy in the United States. People in Texas are also proud of the famous saying, "Everything is bigger in Texas." Everything in Texas is bigger, from the wide highways, the huge stadiums, to the big food portions in restaurants. The culture of Texas is a mix of Spanish, Mexican, Native American, and European influences. This is the place where country music plays loudly, where rodeo festivals are exciting, and where the Texas State Fair and Fiesta San Antonio attract millions of visitors every year. In Texas, the cowboy spirit, national pride, and the wish for freedom appear in everyday life. The people of Texas are famous for being friendly, strong, and brave. They may look free and sometimes direct, but they are warm and value friendship. For them, Texas is not only a place, it is identity, belief, and pride passed from one generation to another. Texas food is also an important part of its identity. The mix of American and Mexican food creates the special Tex-Mex style. Famous dishes like Texas barbecue with soft smoked brisket, spicy chili con carne, tacos, enchiladas, nachos full of Mexican taste, or crispy chicken fried steak with cream sauce all make people love them. Texas also has kolache pastries from the Czech community and many other tasty street foods. Eating in Texas is not only about food, but also a cultural experience, where outdoor barbecue parties become times for family and friends to be together. All these things, from great nature, proud history, lively cities, rich culture, friendly people, to tasty food, come together to make a Texas that is one of a kind. This is not only a state, but also a symbol of the United States, a place of freedom, pride, and the wish to rise. When you come to Texas, you will understand that this is not only a travel destination, but also a life experience. Texas is not only big in land, but also big in spirit, and big in the way people love their home. And with all that it has, now and in the future, Texas will always be a burning song of pride in the heart of America. Massachusetts is a state in the New England region of the United States. It has long been called the cradle of the nation. This is the place where many important events started that changed world history. From the Boston Tea Party that began the American Revolution, to the battles of Lexington and Concord that opened the War for Independence. Not only famous for history, Massachusetts today is also known as a center of education, health, science, and technology in the world. It is also a popular travel destination. Here, visitors can walk in the old streets of Boston and also enjoy the romantic sea and sky at Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard. Located in the northeast of the United States, Massachusetts has a special geographic position. In the north, it borders New Hampshire and Vermont. In the west, it borders the state of New York. In the south, it borders Connecticut and Rhode Island, while the whole east opens to the Atlantic Ocean. Thanks to a coastline of more than 1,500 kilometers with many bays, natural harbors, and beaches, Massachusetts soon became an important trade center from the early colonial days. The state has many kinds of land, from the coastal plains to the Berkshire Mountains in the west. The climate is temperate with 4 clear seasons, giving Massachusetts a natural beauty that changes all year. Fresh spring, bright summer, autumn full of red maple leaves, and romantic white winter. Boston, the capital and also the largest city of Massachusetts, has long been seen as the cradle of modern America. This is the place that keeps the important marks of the American Revolution, and at the same time, it grows strongly in education, culture, and technology. Visitors coming to Boston cannot miss the Freedom Trail, a 4-kilometer road that takes you through 16 historic places, from the Old State House, where the Declaration of Independence was first read in Boston, to Faneuil Hall, the speaking center of the revolutionaries. Beside that, Boston Common, the oldest public park in the United States, 1634, together with the Boston Public Garden full of flowers and the Swanboat Lake, is an ideal place to relax. The city also has the Museum of Fine Arts, MFA, one of the top museums in the world, with an art collection from ancient Egypt to Europe and Asia. For families with children, the New England Aquarium is an attractive stop with thousands of sea animals. The most special is the 12-meter-high cylinder tank. Boston is also proud to be the sports capital of America, home of Fenway Park, the stadium of the legendary Boston Red Sox baseball team. Right across the Charles River is Cambridge, the place with 2 of the most famous universities in the world, Harvard University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Harvard, founded in 1636, is the oldest university in the United States. Visitors can walk around Harvard Yard, visit the Widener Library, take photos with the John Harvard statue, and explore the Harvard Museum of Natural History. Meanwhile, MIT is seen as the cradle of inventions that changed the world, with modern buildings, especially the impressive Stata Center designed by Frank Gehry. After visiting, you can go to Harvard Square, a busy area with cafes, bookstores, art galleries, and street performances, full of creative spirit. The Cape Cod Peninsula reaches out into the Atlantic Ocean, famous for its long beaches, charming towns, and fresh seafood. In summer, this is a favorite vacation place for people all over the United States. The National Seashore, a protected beach area 64 kilometers long, is impressive with soft white sand, old lighthouses, and wide sand dunes. Provincetown, a lively art town, is not only famous for the LGBTQ+ community, but also the place where the Pilgrims on the Mayflower first landed before coming to Plymouth. Lighthouses like Nauset Light or Chatham Light are symbols of Cape Cod, often seen on postcards. And of course, the food here must include lobster roll, clams, oysters, and the special clam chowder. Only a ferry ride from Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard has long been a vacation place for famous politicians and artists, including Presidents John F. Kennedy and Barack Obama. The island is charming with colorful wooden houses and oak bluffs, beautiful beaches, and a peaceful atmosphere. Visitors can ride bicycles around the island, enjoy seafood at seaside restaurants, or join lively music and art festivals every summer. If Martha's Vineyard gives a feeling of elegance and busy life, then Nantucket brings back memories. Once the biggest whaling center in the world in the 18th-19th century, Nantucket today still keeps its old beauty with cobblestone streets, simple gray wooden houses, and a quiet atmosphere. The Whaling Museum helps visitors learn more about the history of whaling that was part of the island's wealth. The quiet beaches, old lighthouses, and small pretty cafes make Nantucket a very romantic destination. Famous around the world for the witch trials in 1692, Salem has turned its dark history into a special attraction. Visitors can go to the Salem Witch Museum, where the scary trials are shown again, or explore the Peabody Essex Museum, one of the oldest museums in the United States, with Asian and maritime art collections. Especially in October, Salem becomes the center of the biggest Halloween festival in the United States, attracting millions of visitors with a spooky and lively atmosphere. In the west of Massachusetts, the Berkshire Mountains are a favorite place for people who love art and nature. In autumn, the whole mountain area is bright with red, orange, and yellow maple leaves. The Berkshires are also famous for Tanglewood, where the Summer Music Festival takes place, and the Boston Symphony Orchestra has its summer home. For those who love art, the Clark Art Institute and the Norman Rockwell Museum are stops you cannot miss. In addition, this mountain area is good for outdoor activities like hiking, skiing, biking, or camping. Massachusetts also has many interesting things that few people know. This is the first state in America to make a law for public education in 1647, making the base for the school system of the whole country. Many American presidents came from Massachusetts, including John Adams, John Quincy Adams, John F. Kennedy, and George H.W. Bush. Modern basketball was invented in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891. Boston is also the place where the first subway system of America was built in 1897. Codfish was once the white gold of Massachusetts, so important for the economy that it became the official symbol of the state. Massachusetts is not only a state of the United States, but also a symbol of the American spirit: pioneering, strong, educated, and creative. From the proud history pages that began independence to the position as a world center of education and technology, Massachusetts always shows its special role. When you come here, you will live in a space where past and present meet, where tradition and innovation join together. Whether you love history, are passionate about learning, or simply want to enjoy natural beauty and food, Massachusetts will surely give you unforgettable experiences, a journey of knowledge, feelings, and the American spirit. Arizona, a state in the southwest of the United States, has long become a symbol of the wild, of endless deserts, of the Great Canyon, and the bright sunny sky all year round. With an area of more than 295,000 square kilometers, Arizona is the sixth largest state in the United States. A land that is both harsh and attractive, where visitors can feel the greatness of nature and the deep culture of communities that have existed for thousands of years. People often call this place the Grand Canyon State, and the state of the Great Canyon, because the Grand Canyon, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, is the eternal symbol of Arizona. But this state does not only have the Grand Canyon. From lively cities like Phoenix and Tucson to old cowboy towns, from the native cultures of the Navajo and Hopi to the influence of Mexico and Spain, Arizona is a colorful picture, where the past and the present join together to create an irresistible attraction. Located in the southwest, Arizona borders Utah in the north, New Mexico in the east, California and Nevada in the west, while the south touches the border with Mexico. The special thing is that this state is also in the area called Four Corners, where the four states, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, meet at one single point. This is an attractive place for visitors because just by standing in one spot, you can step into four states at the same time. The land of Arizona is very diverse. The dry Sonoran Desert stretches in the south, the deep canyons are in the north, the wide Colorado Plateau, and the snow-covered mountains in Flagstaff. The climate also changes in each area. Summer in Phoenix can be more than 40 degrees Celsius, while the mountain areas are cool and have snow in winter. This contrast makes Arizona one of the rare places where you can go skiing in the morning and swim in a warm lake in the afternoon of the same day. The history of Arizona is the meeting of many cultures. Before Europeans came, this land was home to native tribes such as Navajo, Hopi, Apache, Hohokam, with bright civilizations. They built villages with stone and clay, created a smart canal system in the desert, and left heritages like Mesa Verde and Canyon de Chelly. In the 16th century, the Spanish arrived and brought cultural, religious, and architectural influence. Arizona later became the territory of Mexico, until it was given to the United States in 1848, after the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. In 1912, Arizona officially became the 48th state of the United States. Since then, the place has seen strong growth, from the Wild West cowboy times, the silver and copper mines, to becoming a center of industry, farming, and tourism today. Ghost towns, old trails, and native cultural marks still exist, making Arizona both nostalgic and also modern and dynamic. When we talk about Arizona, we cannot forget Grand Canyon National Park, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. With a length of nearly 450 kilometers, a depth of more than 1.8 kilometers, and many colorful rock layers formed over millions of years, the Grand Canyon looks like a giant history book written by nature. Every sunrise or sunset, the whole valley shines in red, orange, and yellow, making anyone who comes here amazed by its greatness. Not far away is Antelope Canyon, a sandstone canyon famous for its soft curves and sunlight shining through the rock cracks, creating a magical scene like a surreal painting. Visitors often call this place the heaven of photography, because just by raising the camera, they can capture a lifetime moment. Continuing the journey, you will see Monument Valley, the land of the Navajo people, where huge red rocks stand tall in the wide desert, giving the feeling of walking into a Western cowboy movie. This place was once the setting of many Hollywood movies, and until today, it still keeps its grand and mysterious beauty. Also from the strong Colorado River, you will find Horseshoe Bend, a horseshoe-shaped curve famous for the emerald green water hugging the red cliffs, creating a perfect natural picture that attracts millions of visitors to admire and take photos every year. Arizona not only has natural wonders, but also lands with unique spiritual colors. Sedona is an example. This small city is called the Red Jewel of the state, where the bright red cliffs and the blue sky create a very charming scene. Sedona is also famous for its mysterious energy, attracting people who look for balance in their soul. Many visitors come here to practice meditation, yoga, or simply to enjoy the amazing nature. If you love the history of geology, you cannot miss Petrified Forest National Park, where ancient trees turned into stone more than 200 million years ago, creating a natural treasure full of colors. Mixed in this landscape are rock carvings of ancient native people, like a message from the past to the present. Also special is Meteor Crater, the best preserved meteorite crater in the world, formed after the crash of a giant meteor about 50,000 years ago. Standing in front of that huge, deep hole, people can see how small they are compared to the power of the universe. Not only famous for natural wonders, Arizona also has modern cities with strong identity. Phoenix, the capital of the state, is a lively economic and cultural center in the middle of the Sonoran Desert. This city has many art museums, luxury resorts, world-class golf courses, and a young and active lifestyle. Meanwhile, Tucson shows Mexican and Spanish colors, clear in church buildings, old streets, and spicy food. Tucson is also close to Saguaro National Park, where giant cactuses, the symbol of the American Southwest, rise high in the desert sky. For those who love the cowboy spirit of the Wild West, Tombstone and Bisbee are stops you cannot miss. Tombstone is famous for the shows that replay the classic gunfight at OK Corral, bringing visitors back to the Wild West full of smoke and guns. Bisbee, on the other hand, impresses with old buildings from the silver mining time, mixed with street art, creating an atmosphere that is both old and creative. All these places together make an Arizona that is wild, mysterious, and modern. A destination where every step opens a new story, from natural wonders, native culture, to the heritage of the legendary Wild West. The culture of Arizona is a special mix of tradition and modern life. The influence of the Navajo and Hopi people is still clear in woven rugs, pottery, silver jewelry, and turquoise stones, while the heritage of Mexico is strong in Spanish-style buildings, colorful festivals, and spicy food. Added to that is the cowboy spirit of the West, with rodeo, country music, and wide-brim hats, together with modern art, movies, and lively sports, making a culture that is both nostalgic and fresh. The people of Arizona are diverse and friendly, from the largest native community in the United States to Mexican, European, African, and Asian Americans living together and building a special identity. They are proud of the Western heritage, love nature, and value a free lifestyle. In the cities, you can easily meet business people, students, and artists, while in small towns you can still see cowboys, miners, and craft makers. This mix makes Arizona a land where everyone who comes feels close and inspired. The food of Arizona is a great mix of native tradition and Mexican style. You can enjoy famous dishes like tacos, burritos, enchiladas, tamales, together with native ingredients like corn, chili, and beans. Grilled meat, especially Southwest-style BBQ, is also very popular. Arizona is also famous for chimichanga, a fried burrito, believed to have started in Tucson. Traditional native dishes like fry bread, corn soup, or grilled meat with desert spices are also interesting food experiences. Art cafes, fine restaurants, and local markets make Arizona food both rich and friendly. In conclusion, Arizona is not only a state of desert and hot sun, but also a land of stories, cultural heritage, and natural wonders. In Arizona, you can see the greatness of the Grand Canyon, walk in cowboy towns, enjoy the spicy taste of Mexican food, find peace in native ceremonies, and experience a land that is both wild and modern. This is a place to slow down, to be close to nature, and to feel American history and culture in the deepest way. Arizona, the land of the burning sun, will always leave visitors with a strong memory, like a journey of adventure and also of the soul. After everything, the technology empire of the United States is not only a story about money or big corporations, but a story about the power to shape the modern world. From the way people communicate, learn, and work, to the way countries operate and compete, American technology leaves its mark in every corner of global life. And as long as innovation remains at the center of ambition, this empire will continue to expand, lead, and write the future of the digital world.